Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara presents How to Win a Business, brought to you by my favorite sponsor in the world, Bedrock University. We are accepting students right now. Forget about COVID-19. Classes are open. We have some world-class professors like Mike Wolf, Haley Gray, Patrick Wally, and a bunch of others. So enrollment is still free, folks. So if you want to take advantage, go to bedrockuniversity.com. And my name is Joe DeChara. If you don't know me, I am a serial entrepreneur, CPA, and I need to close the rest of it. Okay, so you got it. I'm not on the shore overlooking Manhattan or whatever. I don't even know what city this is. So I feel like the Wizard of Oz now because it's just a curtain, folks, and it is pretty cold. The truth is that it's still light out. It's only 6:30 here, and so the funny thing is about this is that I would have this background on talking to my sister who lives on the East Coast also during the day in the morning. And yeah, so she thought that it was my background. Anyway, and now I can see that my suspenders are still reflecting the background as well. So, and for some reason, I think I'm sweating, and there's all kinds of stuff going on here tonight. And to be honest with you, folks, I'm a little bit frustrated because once again, I got a question that just keeps coming up that in my mind should be very, very simple and black and white and straightforward. And then I realized that there's this thing that my friend John called unconscious competence. It's when we just know stuff because we've done it so many times, and everybody should know this, isn't it? Isn't it obvious? And because of the type of businesses that I'm working with now, which are really solopreneur, the micro business, people just starting out, and they have basic fundamental questions, and it just kills me how many professionals there are out there that give people the wrong information on major issues. And I'll tell you what they are right now. Where do you register? That's what I'm going to talk about today. Where do we register? Where are we doing business? How do we do business? Do we incorporate? Are we an LLC? There's so much. And those two questions get messed up so many times. So rather than, and I said, I had something else planned for tonight, but I said, rather than, stress over, I'm like, why do I keep giving the same answer over and over again? And sometimes it's to the same people because it's just so, I guess, so damn confusing for somebody that's never had to deal with this situation to have to wrap their head around it. It's sort of like me when I was trying to learn what a sales funnel was. I'm still not sure that I know what it is. Let me see. And I forget to do this just about every night. But if you're watching, I'm going to try to, watch the post because you might actually have some questions tonight because this is such a major issue for people. And listen, it's not an issue until it becomes one for you. And that's one of the problems with when you start a small business. It is way too confusing, and you're getting hit with all kinds of new stuff, new wrinkles. You don't know what you don't know. So I'm going to give you a couple of real life situations tonight to give you an example of some of the crazy stuff that happens for no reason other than it's confusing and people don't know what they don't know. And what I said was, instead of stressing about it, said, let me give people the solution. No matter how many times I got to talk about this, record, I'm gonna write, it's gonna be, obviously, I don't know if it's gonna become a book. I don't know if there's that, because the solution is so simple. But it can definitely be a chapter. This and should I incorporate? Should I be an s-corp? Now, the other issue that's coming up now, which really, and I'm going to be talking about this a lot. If you're in California, you probably already know about the, whatever they're calling it now, AB5, the independent contractor versus employee rules, which is a whole, that I could probably write a book on, because I've been following that issue for 35 years. It's not a new issue. It's been around since they invented payroll taxes and unions and employee rights and stuff like that. It's not a new issue, but because of technology, because the government needs more and more money, and it's becoming a big issue. But that's for another night. So let me get back to the presentation tonight. And we're going to go with the big screen because I'm glimmering for some reason. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is where to register your business, because I like to talk about strategies that help you win at business. And if you've watched me before, you know what I'm going to say. Winning at business means that at the end of the day, we got more money in our account, or sometimes goodwill, because you could measure progress and success like that. But whatever it is you're measuring, that you got more at the end of the day than you started out with. Because here's the facts, folks, and I'm a scientist, I'm an accountant, I'm dealing with facts. And it was a jolt to me when I found out that life is actually difficult. Life is hard. I thought it was only hard for me, but it's hard for everyone. So once I found out it was hard for everyone, I started to be able to relax and accept it. And once I accepted it, I could start having a life. That's what this book is all about, The Road Less Traveled. I highly, highly recommend it. Although this was like in the first paragraph, I probably could have stopped right there. A great book. I would definitely put it on one of my, maybe I'm going to do 100 books to read. That might be on it. But what's really messed up about us as entrepreneurs is we take something that's already difficult, already complicated, and now we start a business. So we make it even harder. And that's why, well, that's not why, but maybe it's part of it, because I think a lot of people go into businesses, think that myself included, that it was going to be easy. And the fact of the matter is, and I don't care what numbers you look at, what statistics, the bottom line is there's a really good chance that if you're starting a business today, there's a good chance that you're not going to be in that business for very long. And if you are, it's going to be difficult. A lot of stuff is going to happen. And if you don't believe me, come back in a couple of years and then let me know. Because if you talk to any real people that have been in business, it's not all a bed of roses and puppy dogs and rainbows. So the fact is that it's tough. And I'm going to keep reminding people like Elizabeth, hi Elizabeth, that, yeah, a list of my signature reads. I think that I do have some. And hello, Maria. Thanks for joining. And what I've come to the conclusion, and sometimes go back and forth with it. But the bottom line is, because it's so complicated, how can a new business owner be organized? I mean, it's impossible. It's literally, I mean, almost literally impossible for a new business owner to know everything that has to be done and in what order. So it's almost, that's why the odds are stacked against you. My goal with this training is to show you how to, well, with all my trainings, is to show you how to make your business simple, fun, and profitable. Because I like to have fun. It's a lot easier to have fun when it's profitable, and it's a lot easier to make money when it's simple. So, if this doesn't make sense to you, private message me and maybe I can explain it to you. This is how I didn't, 12 years ago, Elizabeth's talking about a signature read. And I think that the top of my list would be The Science of Getting Rich, because that basically told me that there was no lack. There was more than enough to go around. I didn't have to rush. I didn't have to be a pig. And then I decided, well, if that's the case, I'm going to take my time and have fun at it. And sometimes it's not fun because I get, and it's not fun for me because it's frustrating, which I guess is what actually led me to this place and time where I am explaining this stuff. And a lot of times I got to remind myself that, listen, dummy, this is what you're supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be explaining this stuff to people. The stuff that seems so simple to me that I want to say, like, why do I have to spend more time on this? It's so elementary. I guess it would be like the kindergarten teacher asking her students, like, how many times do I have to explain the colors to you? How many times? This is green. This is red. Don't you get it? So, anyway, so that's great. Maria's been in business since 1982. So I guess, so you could post there, Maria, if you want to try to prove me wrong, or just disagree with me that is business tough, or is it, listen, I can go back to my ice cream truck story. And that was, and I don't want to go into it right now, because it was painful. What I thought was going to be an easy life of entrepreneurship, it had its moment in time. Where I'm going to tell you what it is now anyway, because now I can't. I have to tell you. Before I graduated from college, I wanted to prove what a great entrepreneur I was. So I leased an ice cream truck, which I had done before to make money, but it was more like to have fun during the summer, and the money part was just secondary. This time I said, I'm going to do this to show what a great businessman I am. I got a map. I mean, I had specials. I mean, I really did it. And I made money. I actually kept books and records just to practice. And I made money. I went to college. I graduated. And this was proof, documented proof that I can do it. And then I got a letter from New York State saying that I had a tax warrant. And as far as I was concerned, there was a warrant out for my arrest, literally. And I went through 3 nights of suffering, pain, and anxiety because I was too embarrassed to ask any of the accountants in there, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Not only that, I actually thought that I wasn't going to be a CPA anymore. I had to cancel my vacation to see my grandparents. That was, it was an eye opener, because all of a sudden I realized that business wasn't going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. And all it was a stupid form. I had to tell New York State that I was an ice cream man for a couple of months, and they would have just left me alone. And my whole life and career might have been different. If it wasn't for that one stupid letter, I could have been doing something else. I might own an H&R Block store right now. I don't know. But that letter like set the tone of my whole career. And so this question comes up a lot. Thank you, Elizabeth. I don't know what I'm speaking myself up about, but anyway, and I'm like really sweating here. I don't know what happened. Maybe because I forgot to put the air conditioner on, but anyway, I'm getting new clients thanks to things like this, marketing and people like Elizabeth and referrals, and everything's great. And this question is coming up because not only for my new clients asking me, but me actually seeing how they were set up before. And we're talking about situations. Let's go with this. I do business on the internet. So you get the people that they're doing business on the internet. So they think for some reason that they don't need to register anywhere. Like they're just on the internet. They're not actually like someplace doing business. It happens, believe me. So you get the people and they don't realize. So here's the crux of it. Not that they don't realize that they have a business, or they don't realize that they have to register their business. And those are sometimes what I call the accidental entrepreneurs, the people that have eBay stores. You know, my mom just opened up an Etsy store, 80 years old. She teamed up with my sister. My mom does all they make the masks. So I'm waiting for her to set up an affiliate program. Once she has the affiliate program, I'll send everybody to her store. But maybe tomorrow or something, I'll get the affiliate program. So they're on the internet. And, well, they didn't hire me. You know, the son who's a CPA, they didn't ask for it. If you watched yesterday's live, or maybe it was the day before, I think I took yesterday off. But I mean, come on, they're going to get the mom discount. It's not like they're going to be afraid of what I'm going to charge them. But they didn't even ask me if they should be registered. So there you have it. So you got the people like my mom and my sister that are basically doing business illegally because they didn't hire a CPA. But so this is what happens. Let's say they did 50,000 in sales. Oh, you know, oh my God, well, let's make it even less. Let's say 25,000. That's going to get reported to the IRS, and then they're going to get a 1099. And so, like, this business is registered to my sister's name. She's going to get, even if they're 50-50 partners here, now she's going to get a 1099 saying that she made all the money. And this is where the problems start. So it's so easy to start a business, especially an online business. So you have millions, literally millions of people that aren't registered anywhere. And they're not even asking, where should I register my business? Because it hasn't dawned on them. So the other extreme is I do business all over the country, or I do business all over the world, or I do business here, or I do business with people that are in Colorado and New Mexico. And the truth is that it doesn't matter, especially if you're an online business. It doesn't matter, for the most part, where your customers are, where your subcontractors are. It matters where you physically are. And I think I have, this is the simple answer. Where are you physically located permanently? Not, oh, well, I can, I did somebody's payroll from the airport in Thailand one time. Now, I wasn't registered in Thailand, and I'm not doing business in Thailand. I was passing through Thailand, and that's the difference. My place of doing business is Flushing, New York. I am registered as a corporation, and I file a New York City corporate tax return because that's where my business is located, because that's where I'm located, physically located. Now, this is another one of those things that have always been an issue, but it was hard to enforce. And now with the internet, with e-commerce, with all of it, there's a lot of stuff going on now. There's a lot of issues that may seem to be new to people, but they've been around for decades. The independent contractor employee issue, the sales tax issue, which if you notice now you're buying stuff from Amazon and all of a sudden you're getting charged sales tax. I just got a notice from one of my software vendors that they're going to be adding sales tax. This isn't new, people. This has been going on from before I was even an accountant, believe it or not. And that's decades. So now what's happening is because of technology, they are able to close the gap on us. So they know where we are. They know where we're doing business. But the thing is that there are laws on the books that determine where you're doing business. And the law it's called nexus. Where are you physically located? And I know if we have any attorneys, former attorneys, I don't even know what nexus means, except that it means something about where you physically are located. Not where your customer is physically located, where you are doing business from. So I don't know if, I hope that I'm getting through and I'm using the right, a lot of things this week, my training for some reason has been on English, on communication. So if I'm not using the right words, like it's wherever you're sitting most of the time, and most of us now are doing business from home. Even people with big businesses, why travel to the office? But if you're physically located, let's say in Delaware, and I'm picking Delaware on purpose, then you want to be registered in Delaware. But if you're physically located in Flushing, New York, like I am, you must be registered in Flushing, New York. Now, I can be incorporated in Delaware, but guess what? I still got to be registered in New York. So now what I've done is I've just created more paperwork and another expense. Because now, not only do I have to file a tax return in New York, I got to file one in Delaware. Which normally I don't even have a client in Delaware, but now I got to file a tax return there. And yeah, there's no taxes, but guess what? There's fees. Why do you think they don't do it for free? You know, you got to have a registered agent in Delaware. That costs money. So why do people register or incorporate in Delaware? I know because that's what the next question is. Why do people incorporate? I'll tell you the states because they're all tax free, and I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if you could see this, but the background is actually coming through my eyes now. So like if I'm maybe it's my glasses or something, but that's a pretty weird effect. I'm gonna have to disregard that one. But so Delaware, Texas, Wyoming, Nevada. I think there's another one, but maybe Tennessee. Tennessee's got no state in it. But anyway, so let's just keep it with the four: Delaware, Nevada, Texas, Wyoming. Why do all these people incorporate there? Why is it's so cool I have a Delaware corporation? It's cool and it's necessary if you're going to be physically located in more than one state and you get to choose if there's ever a corporate lawsuit, if there's a shareholder lawsuit, the lawsuit will get heard in wherever the company is formed. This does not apply to 99.9% of the business population. Very few people, very few companies would get any kind of tax, financial, or legal benefit from being formed, registered, or incorporated in a state that they're not physically located in. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. So a couple of true stories. I get a client in, let's say they started in state X and now they're in state Y. Their clients are still in state X, but they moved to state Y. So the question is, well, what do we do now? Well, the answer is that you need to be registered. That client needs to be registered in the state that they just moved to. If there is already an entity, a legal entity, an LLC or a corporation, that needs to probably be dissolved. Unless you're going to be physically traveling and staying in that state on a regular basis, you need to either reincorporate or at the very least register with the DBA or something. I recommend S-corps in the state that you move to. So yeah, there's a lot of horror stories. I thought one of these days maybe I'll do some case studies because they're pretty powerful. They're real life stories where people screwed up. I just got a former client from a foreign country that incorporated in Delaware and had an office and an employee in New York City. Long story short, after about 15 tries at explaining this to the CEO of the founder of the company, he just didn't get why we needed to be registered in New York City. So I dropped him. And it's going to be a couple of years before that catches up with him. What's going to happen is they'll start getting letters and there'll be penalties on filed returns, and it's going to be if they want to stay in America, it's going to be a nightmare to unravel. And that's why I had to drop the client, because I'm not, I'll fix other people's problems, but I'm not going to, I don't want to be involved with the guy. He didn't want to follow my advice. So, and that's a fact. That's a given. The only way it's not going to come back to them is if they leave the United States and never do business here again in as that entity. And they got ways of tracking this stuff. You know, just because you're a foreign owner doesn't mean, because now it's everything is transparent. They have access to information. If you incorporated, there's a paper trail. Now I know the attorneys out there that will explain that you can shield the owner with an LLC, but that's not what people in the micro business world do. There's not enough time, money, or resources to structure a business like that. So keep it simple. Life is hard enough. I do want to show you, because I still have my CFO, micro business CFO services, where I am going to basically be your go-to guy, guaranteed. Regular price for this kind of service for an existing corp is anywhere from $250 to $750 a month. And right now I am doing it for only $47 a month with a $97 setup fee. Plus, if you can believe this, it's only going to be $1 to try for the first 2 weeks. You can go to joedicharacfo.com, try me out for $1. If you're not happy, I'll even refund the $1 if you're really not happy with me, because if I don't earn the $1, I don't want to keep it. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Thank you, Elizabeth and Maria, for attending and participating. God bless. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.